Imagine waking up in a world where no one owns anything, not their house, not their business, not even the clothes on their back. Everything, from the tiniest grain of wheat to the grandest factory, belongs to everyone collectively. No rich, no poor, no boss, no worker, just people sharing what they produce together. It sounds almost utopian, doesn't it? But behind that ideal lies one of the most ambitious, controversial, and world-shaping ideas humanity has ever attempted. Communism. At its heart, communism is a response to inequality. It's a vision of a society without social classes, where the means of production, land, factories, resources, are owned by the community, not by individuals. To understand how this idea took hold, we need to go back to the 19th century. Europe was being transformed by the Industrial Revolution. Factories were booming, but so was poverty. The working class, men, women, and even children, labored for endless hours in harsh conditions, while a small elite reaped enormous profits. It was in this world that a German philosopher named Karl Marx looked around and said, "This cannot last." Alongside his collaborator Friedrich Engels, Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto, a book that called on the working class, the proletariat, to rise up against the ruling capitalist class, the bourgeoisie. Marx saw history as a constant struggle between those who own and those who work. He believed capitalism would eventually collapse under its own contradictions, and he imagined a new world order where wealth and power were shared, not hoarded. Think of it like a giant game of Monopoly. At first, everyone starts with equal money and opportunity, but as the game goes on, some players inevitably buy more, build more, and start collecting rent. Soon, one or two players control nearly everything, and the rest can barely afford to keep playing. Marx's argument was that capitalism always leads to this imbalance. Communism was his proposed solution. Flip the board, reset the game, and make sure everyone plays as equals. But theories are one thing, reality is another. When revolutions inspired by Marx's ideas began to unfold, they faced immense challenges. In 1917, after centuries under the Tsars, Russia erupted. Led by Vladimir Lenin and the Bolsheviks, the new Soviet Union became the world's first communist state. The idea was to put workers in charge, abolish private property, and create an economy that served everyone equally. However, implementing this was far from simple. Running a country without private enterprise meant the government had to plan everything, from how much bread to bake to how many shoes to make. Imagine trying to plan an entire national economy like a giant grocery list for hundreds of millions of people. Mistakes were inevitable. Shortages, inefficiencies, and political repression followed. Under Joseph Stalin's brutal leadership, this vision of equality twisted into a regime of fear and mass surveillance. Millions perished under forced labor and famine, all in the name of building a classless society. Still, the idea of communism spread across the globe. China, Cuba, Vietnam, and North Korea all tried their own versions. Each claimed to interpret Marx's dream, yet each faced similar struggles balancing ideology with human nature. Because here's the hard truth. Humans are not identical. We have different ambitions, talents, and desires. And even in a system built on equality, power tends to concentrate somewhere, often in the hands of those meant to abolish it. That doesn't mean the ideals behind communism, fairness, justice, shared prosperity, are meaningless. In fact, many modern societies have borrowed aspects of Marx's vision. Public education, healthcare, and social security are all built on the belief that some things should serve everyone, not just those who can afford them. It is as if the world took the gentler parts of communism and blended them with the practical freedoms of capitalism to find a middle ground. Today, as wealth gaps widen and automation threatens jobs, the questions Marx raised are resurfacing. Who should benefit from progress? How much inequality is too much? And is there a way to balance freedom with fairness? Communism may not have delivered the paradise its founders imagined, but it forced humanity to confront the structures that shape our lives. Perhaps its greatest legacy isn't in the governments it inspired, but in the questions it left behind. Questions that still echo every time we talk about inequality, justice, or the meaning of work itself. In the end, communism wasn't just a system. It was a mirror reflecting our deepest wish, to build a world where everyone truly has a fair chance. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this interesting, consider liking and subscribing for more deep dives into the ideas that shape our world. See you next time.